the thing about science, though, is like some science is very concrete. Other science is just as whimsical as like any religion. Like whenever it comes to like how life began, we have no idea. Like how the universe, like all we know is that it came from nothing. But like all the theories about like how lightning struck a pool of chemicals, that's never been replicated in a lab, like literally ever. I think one point there was in the 50s they were able to make an amino acid, which is only a building block of a protein, which is not even close to a cell, let alone, you know. And so I don't know, like whenever people are like, well, it's not scientific, I'm like, well, how scientific is all of science?
Yeah,
right. You know, it's like some science is clearly like, that's 100% real, and then other science is kind of like I dare say a religious thing, you know.
But also, have you thought about, like, I had like a crisis a couple of weeks ago where we in class talked about how all the things you learn in school are chosen by someone to be learned.
Yes.
So like you learn history, but you learn under this perspective and this amount of history, which is like kind of mind fucking. Because if you're think about it, like we watched a movie. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's called like Iron Jaw Angels, I think something.
I have not. No.
And it's about how women got the right to vote in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing. But like there's actual like history teachers all over the US that doesn't know about it. And like, oh yeah, really? they just like had a parade. And that's not it. Like if you watch the movie, you know like how much they suffered for that.
Yeah.
And like that kind of made me think like that should be in every subject. Like science, maybe people know more than we like society knows.
Yeah.
Because of a reason. I don't know. Like it's almost a conspiracy theory at this point, but like there's a lot of things that may be like not being revealed, but like, people know the answer to the question.
Nice. Oh yeah. I mean like it's like we know like in like public school systems in the US, like there is assigned curriculum for every school.
Yeah.
But other things are left out. Yeah. And it's like, and so it's always like, you always, I guess, have to be aware, like, of, like, where you've come from, like, what your background is, and whether or not maybe you were told some things that were not true, that you've always held to, but maybe they're not true. And this new, I don't know, you just have to be, I guess, open to new information, even going so far as, like, I remember my dad, when my brother Austin was in college at UCO, there was a history book that is very poorly reviewed by historians. It's very historically inaccurate, but it's taught in a lot of colleges. It was being taught in my brother's American history class. And my dad was like, why are you guys teaching this? It's like historians across the board say that it's pretty much like propaganda. And eventually I think they took the book out of circulation, but like it was at least at that particular university. But yeah, it's like I kind of I've told you, Linnea, a little bit about my roommate. He's a really really smart guy, but he's very conspiratorial, and he'd have no problem with hearing this. We've talked about conspiracy theories all the time because he's really into them. Yeah. But he's very much he's very skeptical of almost everything that he's told. And I am more like, well, definitely some things we've been told are not true, but I feel like a lot of things are true, because otherwise, if they weren't, things wouldn't work at all. But it's, I don't know, finding that balance between like trust in like what you've been given by authority, and then also skepticism to be like, is there a lie that's been slipped in here? I guess that's like an important.
Yeah, I think you should
balance.
always ask questions. Always.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say why. Why is this? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Always ask why, because, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we had like a big conversation about this in high school, where we talked about like gender equality and how we had art history, and almost every artist we studied was like a man, of course, because that's what you learn more. You learn more about the male than the female version of like art history. So we talked a lot about that, like how it's almost like a censorship. Like someone somewhere said like this is more important than this, and like although all these other things happen, but like of course we have to prioritize, but like
well I wonder, because I know like I don't know a whole lot of art history, but I almost wonder though if like historically women were, I mean, they usually weren't encouraged to do like I mean, I guess women they've always done art, but like in the past in America and pretty much the entire world, women were discouraged to do things that they normally do now. And so like with art and that sort of stuff, it's possible that they just didn't do as much of it as men did because they were either not allowed to or whatever.
That's possible, but at the same time
but at the same time, there's probably a lot of there
is a lot of them who's like successful, but you never talked about them because there are other people who's prioritized.
Yeah. It's we don't know what to believe, guys. No. Congratulations.
Walking out of here, though.
Walking out like, is this concrete out there, or is this like freaking? Is this a computer simulation? You know?
Yeah. I feel like an episode.
Am I a character in a video game?
Yeah. It's like I feel like an episode in Black Mirror.
That show is so good.
Yeah.